Hello and welcome. You're with us here on Business Today. I'm Aabha Bakaya with me, Shailendra Bhatnagar. Let's take a look at how the setup is placed for today's Bihar election today. So Shail and I were wondering if we should actually take the day off and go home. Shail, what do you think? Or should we wait and see the market's reaction? Is it going to be a crazy roller coaster of a day?
Well, Aabha, I think in the first 20 minutes of the market, we'll know the clear winner. If you look at, we have about 148 leads coming in out of 243 seats. The NDA is already ahead on 85 and 57 on which the Mahagathbandhan is leading. So the magic number is 121. That should happen very soon. And that's the reason why yesterday, you saw 26,000 on the Nifty. I hope you are happy. That is what we had decided to talk about in the early part of the week. So that's there on the board. And now I believe there is some weakness on Wall Street, which maybe you can elucidate upon. And then we'll discuss what's the way forward for Dalal Street today. So what happened on Wall Street?
Well, but just to be difficult, Shail, we didn't close above 26,000. So I was still waiting for us to be way past that mark, just to set the bar a little high for you here. But talking about Wall Street, we've of course had a big sell-off.
Yeah, tell me.
No, go ahead.
You continue. I said they've always taught us right from school. It's impossible to make a wonderful woman happy, but trust me, we will have a close above 26,000 fairly soon.
Okay.
And I will walk away with the honors, but as always, it's over to you first.
All right, thanks for that, Shail. Well, Wall Street had a pretty bad day. In fact, the worst day in a month. Now we're calling it profit booking after the end of the longest shutdown. Everyone was anticipating actually a bit of a cheer post the shutdown, but clearly profit booking set in. So the Dow was down 800 points, snapping a 4-day run. And it cooled off, of course, those record levels, which you'd seen earlier in the week, gave up nearly 60% of that 4-day rally that it had seen. We also saw some rotation of out of tech stocks continuing. S&P 500 was down about 1.5%, NASDAQ was down over 2% as well. And after Thursday, the NASDAQ is now down in 5 out of the last 6 sessions. Remember, sentiment around AI-linked stocks also have been turned cautious. In September, they'd actually surged about 36% with that deal with OpenAI, but all of those gains pretty much gone now. And with the shutdown coming to an end, now we're watching out for, of course, economic data and so forth as other triggers for Wall Street. But right now, just recovering really from the kind of fall that we saw yesterday. And we also saw an impact on crypto overnight with this fall as well. So saw a whole lot of action on that front, with the bears taking control there, but we'll talk more about that later. Asia this morning, we'll pull that up for you, but all eyes in India will be on the election results in Bihar. There's been a lot of focus there. We're still seeing a downward tick. So whether we see profit booking or whether we see some kind of a relief cheer, we'll have to wait and see. But so far the market, even though it's been inching up towards new highs, has been staying a little cautious and trending a little sideways. In terms of stocks and sectors, Shail, what are we going to be watching out for today?
So, Aabha, just a bit of a issue. Let's just clear it up front. So 26,000 was briefly hit in late afternoon trade. The high for yesterday was 26,010, and then there was a serious bout of profit booking. About 130 points is what the Nifty closed from its intraday high, although it closed flat overall. So an intraday profit booking has happened, and now that you mentioned about that Wall Street thing, so you will have a bit of a gap down as the GIFT Nifty is suggesting. But what's really interesting is, Aabha, how so many sectors are coming up, and that talks about the broadening of the rally. So you have insurance, you have defense coming in, Digital India is buzzing with gains, tires are looking good. These are all the ones that are joining the rally from the earlier leaders, which is the mining space, the PSU banking space, the private banking space, and of course, who can forget Reliance, State Bank of India, and of course, M&M and Bharti. So the mood is really good. 50-60 points on the Nifty really doesn't matter. I'm looking at large caps and I'm looking at fresh participation from the sectors that I mentioned, Aabha.
All right. Well, lots to track. Let me take us through some of the stocks in news. Shell, of course, always has about 300 stocks that he's waiting to see react on opening. So keep an eye out on all of those. And then we have a whole other set that are going to be responding to earnings and other news triggers. So Adani, of course, Adani Enterprises, the airport arm is set to acquire AGS Port Aviation. So some amount of acquisition buzz there. There's been a week full of buzz actually for enterprises, so lots of action. Arthur Energy, remember the move yesterday? Well, Motilal Oswal, Society Gen, Invesco Mutual Fund, they've all picked up a stake via block deal. So that was the action building up in Arthur Energy. Bharat Dynamics, and again, lots of positive brokerage calls coming in here. They've bagged a 2,000 crore order now for anti-tank guided missiles. So keep that one on your radar too. Lots of good action there. Textiles in focus as BIS norms have eased, and H1 exports are up 10% to 8.5 billion. That was the Bharat Dynamic close, by the way. 5.5% looked really good yesterday. NBCC, new projects. CESC also we're looking at new units and investments there. KPI Green, also again new projects, sewage estates as well, and real estate, as we know, has been booming across. So that entire pack has been seeing a lot of action. Meanwhile, Zydus has gotten a US FDA nod for multiple sclerosis treatment capsules, and CMEC, some sort of legal news there as well on recovering outstanding dues. So these are a few stocks that are in news. But the big one here actually is LG Electronics, the new listing. Q2 net profit down 27%, revenue growth only 1%. Shell, this one just listed. It was just this phenomenal listing. And while we've been talking about some of the other new age tech players starting to show better numbers, and LG Electronics, which was like this record issue, first set of numbers post listing, and it's down 5% with absolutely zero growth. What do we make of this?
Well, Aabha, I think this is reality which is setting in. So you have a boom and bust cycle in IPOs. The boom is because of investment bankers. Boom is because of this very high participation from retail. And from 1100 rupees, which was the IPO price, LG listed at 1600 rupees. The first day's high has never been taken out. And now is where the reality is setting in, that the Lal Street works on, how should I say, earnings growth and future outlook on guidance. If that is not forthcoming, then well, you will have a lot of profit booking coming in. The best time to buy an IPO is 2 years after it's listed, Aabha. Then all sanity prevails.
Okay, fair enough. Tata Steel, some capacity expansion in the pipeline. We'll be talking about some of the metal majors, and Tata Steel was running up yesterday as well. But everyone's really looking more at the aluminium majors as buy calls, Shell. There seems to be positive action across, but would you agree that perhaps you have to stick to the Nalco and Hindalco at the moment? Like, where do you feel the market's attention's at?
Aabha, it's metals and metals and metals all the way. Remember, as we used to talk about in school, all that glitters is gold. Well, gold is back. So is Muthoot Finance and Manappuram Finance. But yes, it's aluminium as well as the ore companies. Therefore, National Aluminium and Hindalco, ore companies such as Vedant, NMDC, and of course, the two integrated steel players, Tata Steel and Steel Authority of India. So these are the top 6 outperformers in the metal space, Aabha.
All right, Mayuresh Joshi also joining us this morning. Mayuresh, good morning. It's Bihar election results day. So, of course, we're waiting on that. But from a market standpoint, how are you approaching this Friday morning?
Morning, Aabha. Morning, Shell. No, I think the markets have obviously been in a range. But I think 2 positive things that have happened for the markets. One, I think from a results perspective, results have been very, very resilient. both as far as the main index is concerned and the broader markets as well. So the expectations of single-digit earnings growth has actually been outdone as far as Q2 numbers are concerned. And with rationalization moves on the GST, income tax cuts, etc., consumption is expected to make a very strong comeback, and therefore earnings will show a solid comeback as we head into the second half, which is basically the mood point for the markets. The second aspect, obviously, I think from a sentiment perspective, the markets will react and shall react on the outcome of the Bihar elections, as well as what probably happens in terms of the Trump resolutions. So I think if all these things come into play, my own sense, as I've been time and again saying, that there is no structural downside for the Indian markets, but there is a potential re-rating that might actually take place. And FDIs, FPIs, which have been missing in action, might actually start coming back.
9/11, ladies and gentlemen, there's a mild downtick that we are expecting the market. That's mainly because of the weak overnight close, but strong numbers coming in. NDA Aabha already leading in 105, and it's just 20 minutes to counting. Remember, 122 is what the halfway mark is out of 243, and if they really push it up to 150, 160, then the bulls will again return on the Lal Street. Let's get Mayuresh into the conversation. A very good morning to you, Mayuresh. Top two stocks which Market Smith India is recommending to clients.
Morning, Shel. So again, I think from auto ancillary stroke rural theme, I think VST tillers. I know it's a high digit stock, but I think this is one stock where I think the numbers have held up pretty well, and our own sense is with power tiller, weeder sales expected to continue doing well because of better monsoons, discretionary spending, government incentives, and even the tractor sales as far as the domestic market is concerned. The numbers even in the second half should hold up pretty well, and therefore VST tillers is something that we are continuing liking at Markets with India. The second is obviously within the PSU banking pack. Bank of Maharashtra has been a long-term favorite of mine and Markets with India. My own sense is that with the numbers that Bank of Maharashtra has posted, and specifically in terms of the advanced deposit ratios, that should show significant amount of growth as we head into the second half. The provisioning is almost 97-98% onto the books, and therefore any write-backs and recoveries that keep on taking place during the year will probably add to bottom line growth, correspondingly leading to better ROEs. NIMs have got maintained, and the CASA deterioration largely seems to be behind us. Valuations also from a risk-reward perspective, rating rankings, as we see it in Markets with India, look very favorable. So I think two stocks which are probably actionable at this juncture, VST tillers and Bank of Maharashtra.
Okay, we've got the Infi buyback news today, Mayuresh. We did see a little bit of a pullback on Infi before IT started. It's pretty much then again went quiet. Any view on Infi this morning?
So Aabha, I think my own sense is that IT might still continue trading in a range because as you head into Q3, there are a lot of furloughs, Christmas holidays, and therefore it's supposed to be a seasonally weak quarter. And then we head into Q4, which is the quarter where a lot of corporates across industries in the US and Europe determine what the client discretionary budget spends are. And therefore, I think it might still be in a range because you're still not sure in terms of the tariff impact on various industries and whether there is some element of a pullback as it comes to discretionary spending in quarter four. Therefore, I think the big multi-million, billion-dollar contracts, the pricing thereof, the expectations in terms of constant currency revenue growth, I think that might still remain range bound in my opinion. And therefore, again, select mid-cap IT companies, even though expensive compared to large caps at this juncture, because of better dynamics on all these parameters, might actually do a little bit better compared to large cap IT.
9:14, ladies and gentlemen, 111-point downtick on the Nifty. Let us see whether it's bought into or have we made a classic top on the market. Only time will tell, but a very quick view coming in from Mayuresh on how he sees sentiment on the Lal Street. Mayuresh, over to you.
I think it is a good buying opportunity if it does come down.
All right, there you have it. Just a 0.3% downtick coming in right now. 25,800. We seem to be waiting for some kind of release, but we're on this upward trajectory. Shell says towards 29,000. Mayuresh, how soon do you think we're going to hit that?
My hope is that as early as December end, so before we end the calendar year.
Fantastic. Okay, so looking like a strong move there for the next few weeks. On the screens, we've got a touch of green. On the downside, I guess ONGC is down 2%. iShares, Infosys, some of the other names there in the red. I guess some amount of pressure on the index would be from an ONGC. Otherwise, IT, metals, banks, there's a whole bunch that are seeing some amount of profit booking coming in. On the upside, Hero's looking good post earnings. So that's up about 1% or so. BEL, Trend, some of the Adani names are the buzzers on the index this morning. Let me get Mayuresh's view when it comes to Hero from the auto pack. Mayuresh, what were your view on the numbers, and what would you choose right now? Would you go with something like a Hero, or would you rather go for, I don't know, maybe an Arthur Energy and the EV play?
So again, I think Hero has its own electric mobility platform through VIDA, and therefore I think the expectation largely is that as they roll this out more aggressively over the next few quarters and with the kind of dealer and distribution base that the Hero Group has, it should incrementally start adding in terms of the EV platform offerings that they've probably got. Even in terms of their core offerings, I think the sweet spot, Aabha, for two-wheelers is that 125 to 250cc segment. There have been a few launches, not just by Hero, but by competitors as well. But again, I think it is holding up, and this market should largely hold up for all the factors that we have probably discussed, specifically in rural and semi-urban areas, because that is where I think the discretionary spending patterns will be very, very obvious over the next few months and quarters. And that makes us believe that volume growth should sustain for these categories, with pricing probably expected to remain far more stable as we head into the second half in the next few quarters, and input costs remaining far more benign from the spikes that we had seen in the early part of the last financial year. I think a large part of growth should come back very, very strongly. So remain very, very positive on Hero MotoCorp. We also continue holding TVS Motors in our portfolios as it is kept.
Okay, let's bring up Grow.
Aabha, I think I need to interrupt here.
Yes,
the election.
Go ahead, Shell.
The election is more or less decided, Aabha. 50% lead in seats, 128 for the NDA. So that's more or less now in the pocket of the BJP and JDU alliance. You have 131 seats in which the NDA coalition is leading, and about 70 in which the Mahagathbandhan is ahead. So it's a clear win. Now the only point of discussion is what is the extent of the win beyond 122 seats, which only time will tell. And a very, very strong move coming into lots of counters. Let me just mark the broader market. For the moment, 980 shares in the green versus 1200 in the red. They should change during the day. PSU banks and the energy space and the mid-cap select index are in the green. Aabha.
All right, let's pull up a few of the other movers for you this morning. Grow, let's take a look. Grow is up about 6%. It's been on a constant roll, in fact, post-listing. So yes, capital market play, but regardless, it's looking really good. Muthoot Finance is also up 7%. Let's pull actually more than 8% now. So Muthoot's going strong this morning. Pull that up for you on the charts. Jubilant Food, I think that's also an earnings reaction. So let's pull up Jubilant for you. And Muthoot's now almost 9%. So something really strong happening there. Some of these financial services companies, of course, have been on trend, Mayuresh, but Muthoot in particular this morning is looking extremely jubilant.
Yeah, so I think you mentioned Muthoot and Jubilant both. And again, I think Muthoot specifically, when it comes to gold financing companies, I think what has really transpired, Aabha, is that with the spike that we've probably seen in gold prices, the LTV component becomes far more comfortable for gold financing companies. And therefore, I think there are two aspects to this. One, I think on the existing loans that they've probably given, there is some element of relief that probably happens in terms of any additional loans that probably need to be given off. And even for fresh loans that probably come through, they're very, very comfortable in terms of maintaining both the LTV component on fresh loans. And with the kind of volumes or the inventory that they probably manage, and the expectations of gold prices remaining resilient, I think the volume growth probably remains extremely strong. The second aspect, obviously, is that the better rated companies, I think you've got Muthoot and Manappuram, which are two large gold financing companies, where their capital adequacy remains extremely strong. So the advances growth might continue on a strong trajectory. And because they're borrowing from banks and alternate sources as well, because of their reasonably strong credit rating that they've probably got, the expectations in terms of the interest rate component, which has come down over the past few months, helps in their spreads and helps maintaining the spread going forward as well. So I think those are factors that are probably moving and working in favor of gold finance companies.
All right. Let's take a look.
The one interesting thing about Muthoot is very, very strong set of earnings. You've had a very high increase in AUM Aabha as far as Muthoot Finance is concerned, and that's getting reflected very well in the markets. Look at a 47% rise in assets under management, and that's equivalent to the rise in gold prices. Net interest margin improves by 51 basis points quarter on quarter, and that is also in line with estimates, and that's the reason you have a record high 7% higher on Muthoot Finance. And Manappuram, I'm sure, is also doing pretty well in the markets. One stock that I'd like to mark is insurance-backed services provider Sagility. A very large deal happened yesterday on a 15% change in stake, 4% higher at 52 rupees, and is the top traded counter. Aabha, 4,000 crores traded.
Okay, so you've got Muthoot now at a 52-week high, Manappuram also in action. We've got Laurel Labs on a 52-week high. Let's pull that one up for you. And Jubilant, we've got Jubilant also, Ashok Leyland on a 52-week high. Let's pull up Ashok Leyland. Remember, that one was moving very strong yesterday as well. The EV play, again, Mayuresh, is something that's driving the action here. So Ashok Leyland today at 152, but it's been on a steady uptick. I come back to you on this because, okay, let me compare a Tata Motors to an Ashok Leyland, and which one would you go for on the back of the EV play?
So, both of them are doing exceptional work as far as the EV platforms are concerned, and therefore, I think with more launches happening specifically in Ashok Leyland's case, I think what you're probably seeing as a big advantage for Ashok Leyland is not only the presence that they've probably got in the HCV or the MHCV segment, but also in the LCV segment. And this is what creates that last mile connectivity that investors are probably looking at. So right from national highways till the last mile connectivity, I think Ashok Leyland has covered the entire roadmap or the entire journey. And therefore, I think with new launches that are probably expected across these segments and the kind of innovations that are probably happening as well, for the segment overall, and the expectations of reasonable amount of volume growth, I think CM itself expects a reasonable amount of uptick coming through in the next financial year, both for the HCV, MHCV and the LCV segment. Augurs well for Ashok Leyland. Obviously, if you do a comparison check in terms of how Tata Motors commercial vehicle pricing is at this juncture, with margins of 11.8-12% for Tata Motors CV business, and assuming the same EV EBITDA multiple that it gets compared to an Ashok Leyland at 12.5 times, I think 320, 325 probably becomes a fair price for Tata Motors.
Fair point. We've just had the first 7-8 minutes of trade. The Nifty is down about 105 points so far. Weakness in Bank Nifty as well. IT is down about 300 points, but taking it away, Aabha, is the NDA Alliance. 137 leads out of 243, of which 215 are being tracked. So it's a clear message coming in from the political setup that the NDA is gaining ground. What is also buzzing is the defense space. Bharat Dynamics and Bharat Electric from the PSU space doing phenomenally well. 1622, 105 higher on BDL, and of course a strong move coming into BEL as well, headed towards a record high. And who can forget Kirloskar Engineering, strong earnings, now 1087, up 0.23%. Aabha.
Okay, so in fact, let's get your view on some of those defense names, Mayuresh. BDL, of course, huge order wins too, and a whole host of the others. That whole pack has been, of course, moving and strong order books. But where would you look within that basket?
So I think it's a very, very strong structural story. There is no two ways about it. The revenue visibility for most players extend beyond 4 to 5 years, to say the least. They are executing well. Obviously, I think there will be quarters which are lumpy in nature. Monsoon-related quarters, as we've seen, or some quarters where revenue recognition probably just gets deferred because of some issues either at the government end or state elections or the budget session, which will come in play in February as well. Therefore, if you account for all these factors and if you have a structural view in mind, I think defense becomes a long-term structural story. I think the budget outlay is also going to be significant as we head into Jan over the next couple of months. And therefore, I think as a space would continue doing well. Within the names, I think you probably got ship makers like a Mazgaon or a Cochin that can do exceptionally well going forward. HAL, I think the numbers were a tad bit disappointing, but with the kind of dynamics, the order book that they're probably playing with, and the expectations in terms of expectation of margin performance for HAL being maintained at around 30-31 odd %, ROEs, ROCs remain extremely strong. That probably becomes a very strong candidate as far as earnings is concerned. And something like an ancillary play as well. You've obviously got Bharat Forge and the Ashok Leylands and the Tata Motors as far as defense is concerned, but solar industries as a proxy, which we have a bias towards and which we continue holding in our portfolios, can also do well as a proxy to defense.
All right, that's on some of those defense names there. Infees down this morning, and of course on perhaps some of that buyback action. We were discussing it a little earlier. We also talked about some of the others there, like a Jubilant on earnings. Samvardhan Motherson Sumi is also moving. The Adani stocks are moving this morning. Mazgaon Dock continues to be in action. We've got Muthoot, Manappuram, Swiggy is up about 2%. Let's pull up Honasa. I'm just curious to see if it's still moving post that initial reaction to the earnings this time around, just to see like what it's looking like today. Today completely flat. So we did see that knee jerk, but nothing too much from the counter today. ONGC's down from the heavyweights. We've got Arthur, of course, seeing some amount of continued action there. So these are some of the stocks that have definitely been in focus. PSUs, again, have been a recurrent theme, Mayuresh, whether it be the PSU basket overall or whether it be PSU banks. But we've seen PSUs across, I mean, for obvious reasons, starting to move up and see a lot of traction and value buying. How would you approach again, this part of the market? Would you be a bit cautious? Are there, specific slices of it that you'd be open to investing in?
No, absolutely. As I said, I think a few PSU banks, which I did mention, I think would continue doing well. Outside that, I think PSU PAR as a theme should continue doing well because the government initiatives and target setting in terms of objectives of 500 gigawatts is pretty much well defined. And therefore, I think a few players that you've already seen some action in, Coal India, Power Grid, obviously become some stocks which obviously become holds and dividend yields that probably work in favor. But Neyveli Lignite, NLC, is something that can actually do well over the next few years. Obviously, with a large component and dominance in terms of lignite manufacturing and power through lignite manufacturing, the expectations in terms of doubling of their capacities as far as renewable and thermal is concerned, as well as expansion of margins. So they're actually looking at an FY27 exit from 38% to 45% and FY30 at 50 odd %. I think that's a huge margin addition that might probably happen with increased volumes, increased top line, margin expansion, decent dividend yield. You can't ask for more. So I think one actionable that can happen where valuations are also reasonable, where rating rankings look strong, Neyveli Lignite is something that can really do well in my opinion over the next 2 to 3 years.
Aabha, I think we'll have to mark the election results now. It's a sweep. 149 leads out of 227 so far tracked for the NDA. Remember, in the earlier election, they had just, in the earlier assembly, they had just 125 seats. So after 20 years of ruling Bihar, Chief Minister Nitish Kumar, in conjunction with the BJP, is actually increasing his mandate, and that's the reason why you see a nice recovery happening on the Nifty. Now 25,823, 56 down. Remember, early morning it was down by about 111 points. So that dip is getting bought into, and across the board you have a very, very nice move coming in. That will be visible from the way we track the advanced decline ratio. Remember, I had pointed out 981 stocks in the green. Now let us see, it's 1166. So this dip is into being purchased, and that's what this story is all about for the moment. Strong move in coming into frontline counters. Aabha.
Okay, Mayuresh, thanks so much for joining us this morning. We'll let you go now and give you a chance to absorb these Bihar election results. But okay, we got Kunal Parar also joining us this morning. Kunal, let's take a look at the index first. How's it looking to you?
Yes, volatility will be too high as the result is coming out, and so clearly we are clearly see that NDA is leading in 156, so this will have some positive impact in the market. Right now Nifty is trading at 25,844. In morning it was down by 100 points, but right now Nifty is gaining its momentum and it's just 30 points down at present level. If we talk about the level wise, 26,000 would be will be acted as a strong resistance. If Nifty sustain above this level, then further upside would be there. But if you talk about downside, then downside Nifty has a strong support at 25,700, and any close below this level, we may see some kind of correction up to the level of 25,300. But if you talk about the overall picture, then it looks like an northward momentum only, 26,000, and afterwards even we may see new high as well in the index.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we need to mark the market again. The Bank Nifty is already in the green. The low in the morning was 58,111. We are now at 58,418. So this is a 300 point buy that is coming into the market, and from a low of 25,777, you have the Nifty now just 29 points down. I'm telling you, you will see a shade of green coming back into the market fairly soon. 154 leads out of 243 that are being tracked now, Aabha. It's a clean sweep from the NDA alliance led by JDU and BJP.
All right. I think it was pretty much expected. I don't know what I've got to say in the sense, as always, would have been nice to see a bit of a fight. But coming back to markets, let's get your top picks, Kunal. What are the top stocks that you're tracking right now?
Well, two stocks are there which looks very attractive to me, and first stock is SBI Card. Right now SBI Card is trading at 884. Stock has taken the support of its previous bottom, which was placed at 860, and right now trading at 884. So I think no, we will see a very good upside momentum in the SBI Card from the present level. One can get into the stock at present level. If we talk about the target wise, the way stock has been trading on its daily chart, first target would be at 915. And if stock break this level, then further upside would be there up to the level of 940. So SBI Card looks very attractive at present level. Now, even one can go for creating a long-term position as well at present level. Now, if you talk about second target, second stock, that's REC Limited. Look at the stock, trading at very strong support right now. REC is trading at 361. Stock has a strong support somewhere around 355. And if you talk about overall picture, on a weekly chart and a monthly chart, stock has been trading above its 100 weeks and moving average. So bounce back would be there, and overall trend is on upside only. So one can get to the stock at present level with strict stop loss of 355. If we talk about the upper side target, first target comes at 370, 370, and if REC breaks this level, then further upside would be there up to the level of 385. So from my side, it's SBI Card and REC Limited.
9:34, ladies and gentlemen. 1 second later, you'll see the Nifty in the green. 25,875. It's banks, banks, and banks all the way, as also the entire metal space in the PSU segment and the PSU basket. So this is doing immensely well in the market, and there is just no doubt with the kind of electoral strength that the BJP and the JDU alliance is coming back in. 155 seats in the lead. It's way higher than the previous pocket. Look at Ashapura Mines, look at Muthoot Finance, look at Grow, look at Jubilant Foods, all of them in very strong single digit gains. A view, Kunal, on Manappuram Finance and Muthoot Finance.
Well, if you talk about Manappuram Finance, right now stock is trading at 280 level, and we have seen a good correction from its recent top. Right now trading at 280, and the stock is trying to give a breakout of its intermediate top, which is placed at 280 level. So at present level, I think we may see a very good upside momentum towards the northward direction. One can get into the stock at present level with stick stop loss of 270. If we talk about target wise, first target comes at 290, and if stock breaks this level, then further upside will be there up to the level 298. So Manappuram Finance definitely looks very attractive at present level. And if you talk about Muthoot Finance, the way stock has been trading on its daily chart, I think further upside will be there. Since last many days, stock has been trading between the range of 160 and 175. So from the present level, I think we will see a upside movement toward its upper end at 175. One can get to the stock at present level for target of 175, and if stock break this level, then good upside momentum will be there even up to the level of 190. So yes, both stock looks attractive at present level. One can get into the stock for trading perspective.
Okay, let's pull up Sagility again. This one continues to be on the move. That's just pulling it up for you. Some amount of block deals coming in, so I think promoters were looking to sell, so perhaps this is why we're seeing that 4% up move on the counter. Yeah, 3,600 crore share sale at an 8% discount that's coming in. That's why we're seeing Sagility on the move, but it's also been hitting really good numbers lately. So that's the recent IPO and what's happening there. Grow is on the move. We've been talking about Jubilant on earnings, Ashok Leyland, Laurus Labs, some of these names, Defense, Infi is down, of course. So these are a couple of the pockets that we're seeing in action right now this morning. Have you looked at Jubilant Food lately, Kunal?
Well, yes, I think it's a party time for BJP, and I think that's the only reason why we are seeing some good upside momentum. The Jubilant, it is trading up by 7%, and the further upside momentum would be there from the present level. If you talk about overall momentum wise, stock took the support of its previous bottom, which was placed at 570 level. Right now stock is trading at 618 level, and it also has given a gap of opening. So breakaway gap is there, and based on this breakaway gap, further upside would be there that we can expect towards the northward direction. Now if we talk about the target wise, first target comes at 634, and if stock break this level, then further upside would be there up to the level of 680. So yes, definitely stock looks very attractive. One can get into the stock at present level with day low as a SL, which plays at 599.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, a very quick update on the election counting so far. 156 is the number of seats in which the NDA is leading, ladies and gentlemen. Now look at the granularity. Out of 156, BJP is leading in 80. That's better than 9 that's better by 9 compared with the assembly number in 2020. The JDU, led by Nitish Kumar, is leading in 66 seats. That's way better. It's 24 higher. So you can look at how the sweep is happening. And on the other side of the equation, Mahagathbandhan, the RJD is leading only in 59, which is down 19. The Congress is leading only in 11, which is down 9. So that's the swing, ladies and gentlemen, that's happening. And I'll request Kunal to give a view on Sagility. This is the top traded counter for today, 3.6% higher. A huge block deal, 4,400 crores already traded. What are the charts telling you, Kunal?
Well, chart looks very attractive because stock made a low at 47.60 level, and same resistance stock was facing for many days. Now that resistance has become a good support for the counter. Right now counter is trading at 52.29 level. One can get into the stock at present level with stick stop loss of 47.50. If we talk about target wise, the way stock has been trading on its daily chart, we may see very good upside momentum in the counter from the present level. First target would be at somewhere around 56.30, and if I break this level, then further northward march would be there up to the level of 63 level. Here Sagittarius looks very attractive present level with stick stop loss of 47.50.
All right. I'm not sure that the Bihar news is. I mean, I know you're saying we're seeing a little bit of a bump up, Shell, but I think maybe just a recovery. But do you really feel it's going to have such an influence on the overall sentiment?
What's really happening is that the BJP alliance is coming back after a 20, so it's a pro-incumbency vote. Let me just put it this way. So 20 years of Nitish Kumar and another 5. And this time the BJP has emerged as a bigger partner. So that is what the market is looking at, that the schemes given by the BJP are now getting accepted widely. Remember, there was talk earlier that Mr. Nitish Kumar would probably be bidding goodbye this time. But look at the way he is winning. 66 is his lead, which is 24 higher than the previous assembly. So this is what the market is rejoicing. Take my word for it. We will close in the green today. And hopefully, let's see 26,000 once again. Aabha.
All right. From the financials, Kunal, and they've gone quiet again. But from the sort of heavyweight financials, which are the ones where you feel perhaps there's still value to be found? Because it's just a matter of time before, of course, we see action resume over there, given the consumption boom, given the kind of loans and activity we're anticipating from the market. So where would you position your calls?
Well, if you talk about financial service, we already discussed about the Geo Finance, Manappuram Finance, Muthoot Finance. But if I want to go for any another stock except this, three stocks, and we already discussed about the SBI card. But yes, after these stocks, I think one should focus on the Bajaj Finance. Right now, it is trading at 1007 level. Stock looks very attractive at present level, and fundamental is very strong at present level for the stocks. We have seen a healthy correction in Bajaj Finance after its result came out, and right now stock is trading at 1007 level. One can get into the stock at present level with stick stop loss of 970 level, and we may see a very good upside momentum. Bounce back would be there towards the northward direction, and if you talk about the target wise, first target comes at 1045. In stock break this level, then further upside would be there up to the level 1065. So Bajaj Finance looks very attractive amongst the other financial sectors.
All right, thanks for joining us this morning, Kunal. Interesting morning. Everyone waiting, of course, how the market responds now post these election results. Shell, thanks so much for joining us as well. And we'll leave it here. Back with more in a short while.
As always, Aabha.
Markets move today to what's setting the stage for tomorrow. From tariffs